Hello students, and welcome to the first video in Inkscape. This is just a very introductory video, assuming the first time you've ever opened Inkscape and it looks something like this. There's a couple of things you need to do right off the bat to set it up so that it looks right. The first thing is a number of the buttons appear over here because this is in a wide view. So we go to the view settings and change it to default. And that just puts the buttons back where we normally expect them to be, so that there's a new document, there's open a document, there's save a document. Those are kind of our most important three for when you're working. Also, in all of these video series, just in case you missed it, this button here, the Draw Bezier Curves, is going to be one of our most important buttons. So I'm just going to do a little quick drawing here on the page. I'm just going to do a super fast triangle, and when you click back to where you started from and choose a color, it fills it in really quickly. You don't always have to click back where you start from. Sometimes what you can do is you can just create a line just by clicking a line anywhere and then pressing the Enter key on your keyboard, and that will create a line, or you can create a curved line by just starting somewhere and then clicking and dragging. And those handles that are up here, they can be edited again later. So I can do a click and drag. So I can create corners, or I can click and drag and create rounded parts and then just hit enter. So there's a couple of different choices for you. When you want to go and edit these lines and make changes to them, there's a couple of different options for you. The first is to actually choose the object as an object, and then you can see where your mouse changes to move it around. The next is to edit each of the points in the object using the second button to edit the paths, and you can change each individual set of points to do whatever it is that you were hoping to do. You can modify it because each line or object is just a thing, and then if you want to move it around, you can go back to the first choice and move it around. You'll also notice when you get to the edit area that there's all these different choices appear. So for instance, if I want this node here to be smooth, I can click the smooth button, and now all of a sudden it's smooth. If I want this one to become a corner, I can just click the corner button, and now it becomes any kind of a corner that I want. Okay, so that's just a super fast introduction. The next most important button would be this one here that looks like a paintbrush. Obviously T for text, and layers will be valuable. And then over here there's an alignment button, but really this paintbrush will allow you to do an awful lot. You can see right now that there's no fill on this piece of the drawing, on this object, but if I click on the triangle, all of a sudden you can see the fill shows up. There's a number of different ways to choose colors. Personally, I like the wheel, but you can also choose this slider down at the bottom, as there's hundreds and hundreds of different colors in here, and you can just click on them. In the stroke is the line around the outside, or in a case of this object, the stroke is all that there is. But in this one, the stroke is the line around the edge. I'm going to choose a red stroke just to make it obvious. And then when I go to stroke style, I can just make it thicker and thicker and thicker. And you can see there's the red growing thicker and thicker and thicker. Again, I can always just click on these nodes, make changes to them. I can make them smooth. Whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish in this drawing program. And then I can go back, and it's still an object. So if I say I can actually type in a number here. Let's say I want to type in the number 5, and now that red stroke is only 5. And then I can also choose a different color simply by right-clicking on the color down here, and you can see it says set fill or set stroke. So I'm just going to choose a dark blue there instead. So there's lots and lots of different ways that I can have some real fun with the design here, because they all will move according to whatever it is that I'm trying to get done. So there's just a couple of really kind of cute options for you. And then what I really hope you get to do is to play around with the different options that it gives you. Let me just set the stroke here so that you can see all the different possibilities that it's going to have in your artwork and design. One last thing just to point out, if you go to File Document Properties, this is where there's a lot of different options available to you. The first one is you get to notice that it says A4. Well, we use, this is a European paper standard. We use letter. So go to US letter, and you can also choose either portrait or landscape. That's your choice. So I'm going to choose landscape. And what you can see here is that instantly my page has changed. So now that it's going sideways because it's in landscape mode, I can just kind of switch back and forth and the page will automatically change. Sorry, I'm clicking back and forth off the screen, but and then there's also a snapping area, and usually I don't want the snapping to happen, so I usually turn those off. And you can also say turn that one off as well. The snapping, and there is no save button in that, which is really weird. So, but the snapping means that I can now move these around, and there's no kind of residue. It's not trying to push things into place. If you want to zoom in, you can use the plus key on the keyboard. If you want to zoom out, you can zoom out with the minus key on the keyboard. There is also ways to do it with the mouse wheel. If any of you are curious about mouse wheel, if you hold down the control key and use the mouse wheel while holding down the control key, then it zooms in and out. And if you want to zoom side to side, you can use the shift key. But really, all I usually do is just the plus and the minus key on the keyboard. It seems to work really well. Okay, so that's just a very, very quick introduction to the Inkscape menu bar and the different options that are available, and I hope this is helpful for you when you're getting started.